So as I'm working on the budget to buy a used Jeep Wrangler this year, which involves selling the Patriot behind me and a very tight budget, I find myself considering whether or not I should just keep the Patriot and put some money into it. So I want to take a quick minute just to talk about that option. Welcome to Starry Project. I'm Richard. So this is my 2015 Jeep Patriot, which I purchased used and I've had for about 4 years. My plan is to buy a Wrangler this year, and I've kind of talked about that in my previous video. If you haven't seen that one, definitely take a look at it. It explains the kind of background behind the decision to trade this in for a Wrangler and what my goals are for this year. So I have had my Jeep Patriot off-road on some Forest Service roads and other gravel roads. Nothing too crazy. It is definitely not built for that as it is, but it could be a little bit better than it is, I think, with a few improvements. First and foremost would be tires. It could use some more aggressive tires. They do make a lift kit for the Patriot that's about 2 inches, but I've heard definitely mixed stories on how those work out. They seem to likely cause more problems than they solve and only allow for a little bit bigger tire and a little bit more ground clearance. But definitely could use some more aggressive tires if I was going to off-road this. Definitely would also need to put money into some other things as well. But one of the main reasons why I don't think I should keep this and use it for overlanding and off-roading is the lack of recovery points. Those could be added. The best solution I've seen for rear recovery point is to add a hitch and put a tow hook, a hook into the receiver. That's the best solution I've seen for the back. There also is a recovery point kit for the front, which puts the recovery point in that little vent next to the fog light. So that is an option, but the biggest thing that I think I would be unhappy with is not having a winch. I think especially if I'm planning to do any solo overlanding, a winch would be an absolute necessity, and this bumper is just not set up to be able to handle a winch. So I have seen a few Patriots with alternate bumpers, but would I at that point be building something and putting money into something that is that I'm never going to see a return on? If I want to sell it a couple years down the road, there won't be much market for a built-up Jeep Patriot. So some of the money that I'd be spending into making the Patriot an off-roading and overlanding vehicle would be for things that I could transfer to another Jeep were I to get one down the road. Things like lights, communication, and recovery equipment. But still, I am not sure that it is worthwhile to put the money into this. So just to help with the decision-making process, the Wrangler that I'd be likely getting if I were to get one to replace the Patriot would probably be a early 2000s model, hoping to find something under 100,000 miles. I'd prefer a 4-door, but I know that in my price range is going to be very, very hard to find, so likely it will be a 2-door. And it'll probably be a base model. There's no way, from what I've seen, that I'm going to be able to afford a Rubicon. If you don't already subscribe to my channel, please take a minute to hit that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate that. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Starry Project X. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your support.